On the night of July 4th, 1969, a man walked up to a car parked in a California lot, shone a flashlight through the window, and opened fire. Then he drove to a payphone, called the police himself, and told them exactly what he'd done. He signed his letters with a crosshair, a circle with a cross inside. He sent coded ciphers that took 50 years to crack. He mocked the FBI. He taunted newspapers. He threatened to blow up school buses full of children. And then he vanished. To this day, no arrest, no conviction, no name. This is the Zodiac Killer. And somehow, more than 50 years later, we still don't know who he was. The Zodiac case isn't just a cold case. It's become a piece of American mythology. Films, books, documentaries, obsessed amateur investigators working decades to crack it. But here's what a lot of people don't realize. The case is still officially open. Right now, in 2026, multiple law enforcement agencies, the SFPD, Vallejo PD, the Napa County Sheriff's Office, and the FBI have active files on this killer, and in just the last few years, a code that stumped the world's best cryptographers for 51 years was finally broken by amateurs using software built for this era. So tonight, we're going back to the beginning. We're going to walk through exactly what happened, who the victims were, what the clues say, and why, despite everything we know, this case remains one of the greatest mysteries in American history. It's December 20th, 1968. It's cold outside Benicia, California, a small town, the kind of place where nothing bad ever happens. David Faraday is 17 years old. Betty Lou Jensen is 16. They're high school sweethearts. This is their first real date. They park on Lake Herman Road, a lover's lane. They're just talking, sitting together in the car, the way teenagers do. And then someone approaches. David was shot inside the car. Betty Lou made it 10 feet before she was shot 5 times in the back. Both killed. No robbery, no motive anyone could identify, no witnesses. Shell casings from a .22 were found at the scene. That was it. Police had nothing. Then, 6 months later, July 4th, 1969, it happens again. This time, Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo, another parked car, a young woman named Darlene Farron, 22, a waitress, and her friend Michael Majo, 19. The killer pulled up, got out, shone a flashlight at them, and fired, over and over. Then he left. But here's where it gets strange. He called the police from a payphone that night. He told them where to find the bodies. He told them he was responsible for the Lake Herman Road murders too. He even told them what kind of ammunition he used, a detail that hadn't been made public. Michael Majo survived, shot 4 times but alive. He described the shooter, stocky white male, about 5'8" or 5'9", curly brown hair, dark shirt, calm, almost eerily calm. The killer wasn't just committing crimes, he was announcing them. A few weeks after the Vallejo attack, 3 Bay Area newspapers, the San Francisco Chronicle, the San Francisco Examiner, and the Vallejo Times-Herald, each received a letter, same handwriting, 1/3 of a cipher in each. The letters demanded the papers print the ciphers on the front page, or, the writer threatened, he would go on a killing rampage. "I will cruise around and pick off all stray people, or couples that are alone," he wrote. He signed it with that crosshair symbol. He called himself the Zodiac. Now here's your first wow moment. That cipher, 408 characters, a grid of bizarre symbols and letters, was solved in less than a week, not by the FBI, not by the NSA, by a married couple from Salinas, California, Donald and Betty Harden, school teachers. Betty noticed the killer seemed egotistical. She guessed he might have started the message with, "I like killing people." She worked backwards from there. She was right. The decoded message read in part, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest, because man is the most dangerous animal of all. I will not give you my name because you will try to slow down or stop my collecting of slaves. For my afterlife, slaves. For his afterlife." This wasn't just a killer. This was someone who had built an entire worldview around what he was doing. Someone who believed his victims would serve him after death. The FBI profilers would later note this kind of thinking. The narcissism, the fantasy, the need for an audience was deeply embedded in his psychology. He didn't just want to kill, he wanted to be famous for it. And over the next several years, he made sure he was. more than 20 letters arrived at newspapers and police departments between 1969 and 1974. Some included pieces of his victim's clothing as proof. One included a swatch of bloody shirt, torn from cab driver Paul Stein, a victim we'll get to in a moment. He threatened to blow up school buses. He taunted detectives by name. He counted his victims out loud in the letters, claiming, eventually, 37 kills. Police could only confirm 5. Was he lying, exaggerating for power, or were there victims no one ever connected to him? We still don't know. By September of 1969, something shifts. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard are 20 and 22. They're on a picnic by Lake Berryessa in Napa County. Beautiful afternoon, quiet. Then a man approaches from the tree line. He's wearing a hood, black, with a crosshair symbol sewn onto the chest, like he made a costume for this. He tells them he's an escaped convict who needs their car and their money. He ties them up. Then he stabs them, repeatedly. Brian survived. Cecilia, despite fighting for 2 days in the hospital, did not. Before he left the scene, the killer walked to Brian's car door and wrote on it with a felt tip pen the dates of his previous attacks. The date that day, September 27th, 1969. The time, the method, by knife, like he was logging entries in a journal, in public, on someone's car door. Then he called the Napa police to confess, from a payphone again, 2 weeks later. October 11th, 1969, San Francisco. A cab driver named Paul Stein, 29 years old, picks up a passenger in the theater district. The passenger asks to be taken to Presidio Heights. The cab stops, and the passenger shoots Paul Stein in the head at point-blank range. 3 teenagers across the street see a man wiping down the inside of the cab. They call the police. Officers pass a man matching the description right after, but a dispatcher error means they're told to look for a black suspect. The real killer, described as white, walks right past them. He was right there. Within days, a letter arrives at the San Francisco Chronicle. Inside, a piece of Paul Stein's bloody shirt, proof it was him. He also included something new, a threat to shoot out the tires of a school bus and pick off the children as they ran away. The Bay Area was terrified. Schools modified bus routes. Newspapers wrestled with whether printing his letters was giving him what he wanted. But if they didn't, what would he do? It was an impossible situation, and he knew it. In November of 1969, a new cipher arrived. 340 characters, complex, deliberately misdirecting. Investigators, cryptographers, even government agencies took a run at it over the decades. Nobody could crack it until 2020. Here's your second big wow moment. 3 amateur codebreakers. David Orenchak, a website designer from Virginia, Jarl Van Eyck, a Belgian programmer, and Sam Blake, an Australian mathematician, cracked the 340 cipher using modern software and a fresh set of eyes. After 51 years, the decoded message read, "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber, because it will send me to paradise all the sooner. I now have enough slaves to work for me." He spelled paradise wrong. P-A-R-A-D-I-C-E. That small misspelling had actually helped throw off earlier decoding attempts. The FBI confirmed the solution was authentic. 51 years, 3 regular people with computers, and yet 2 other ciphers remain unsolved. One, just 13 characters long, is believed to begin with the words "My name is," the Zodiac's actual identity, possibly encoded in 13 characters, sitting in archives, and we still can't read it with certainty. In 2025, a researcher named Alex Baber claimed the Z13 cipher decoded to a name, Marvin Merrill, believed to be an alias for a man named Marvin Margolis, a World War II veteran, who had also been investigated in connection with the Black Dahlia murder back in 1947. Baber says he turned over letters and family items to the FBI for review, but experts are skeptical. This isn't the first time someone has claimed to solve it, and it almost certainly won't be the last. Over the decades, thousands of people have been investigated. Seriously, thousands. But one man rose above all others as the prime suspect. Arthur Lee Allen, a schoolteacher from Vallejo, a Navy veteran, convicted later for child molestation. He lived near the crime scenes. He owned a watch with the Zodiac brand name and that crosshair logo before the killer adopted it as his symbol. He had bloody knives when police searched his home. He matched the physical description from survivors. He told a friend, before the murders began, that he fantasized about hunting humans and that he would call himself the Zodiac. Police searched his home in 1972. They found disturbing things, but nothing that conclusively tied him to the crimes. Handwriting analysts said it wasn't a match. The DNA recovered from stamps on the Zodiac's letters didn't match Allen either, though experts debate how reliable that sample was. Arthur Lee Allen died in 1992, before modern DNA testing could be fully applied, before the 340 cipher was cracked, before everything we know today. Was he the Zodiac? Many investigators believe so, but believing isn't the same as knowing, and that's the thing about this case that haunts everyone who's touched it. So much evidence, so many leads, so close, so many times, and yet nothing. 5 people confirmed dead, 2 survivors who carried what happened to them for the rest of their lives, families who never got answers, a killer who walked free and apparently just stopped. David Faraday was 17, Betty Lou Jensen was 16, their first date. Think about that for a second. Here's what strikes me most about this case. We live in a world now where we can crack a 50-year-old cipher with software, analyze DNA from a saliva-licked envelope, run facial composites through AI systems, cross-reference military records and fingerprints across national databases. We have tools that would have seemed like science fiction in 1969, and the case is still open, which tells you how carefully this person covered his tracks, how disciplined he was, how well he understood, even back then, that if he was careful enough and patient enough, he might just get away with it. And so far, he has. But here's the thing I want to leave you with. The 340 cipher sat unbroken for 51 years, and then 3 regular people, a web designer, a programmer, a mathematician, sat down with modern tools and cracked it. The Z13 is 13 characters, 13. Somewhere in those 13 symbols might be his name. Technology in 2026 is nothing like it was even 10 years ago. Genealogical databases have solved cold cases that were 50, 60 years old, cases where investigators had given up entirely. The Zodiac was careful, but he wasn't perfect. He left letters, he left stamps, he left a piece of a cab driver's shirt, he left boot prints and bullet casings, and witnesses who saw his face. Somewhere in all of that, the answer is still there. The victims deserve it, their families deserve it, and honestly, so do we. If you want to go deeper on this case, and trust me, you will, the documentary by David Oranchak's team on the 340 cipher is extraordinary. David Fincher's 2007 film Zodiac is one of the most accurate true crime films ever made, and the original letters are archived and publicly viewable. The investigation continues. The files are open, and for the first time in decades, the tools to finally close this case might actually exist. We just have to use them. This has been the story of the Zodiac Killer, still unsolved, still hunting for justice.